everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Goodness, it's been so long since I last said that. Oh my god. And I bet most of you are already thinking, she's a one-hit wonder. Oh, surprise, surprise, I'm still here, very much alive and kicking and YouTubing. So yeah, it's been so long, guys. Oh, what a month it has been. Oh my goodness. And today I'm going to be telling you all about it, where I've been, what I've been up to, and why I've been so quiet. So yeah, February was a very long month for me. It was a very hectic month, particularly on the work side of things, because so we got our first big funding in March 2022. So now it's like, you know, in March, or well, end of Feb 2023, that's the end of our financial year. And what this means is we really need to wrap up, you know, all of the things that we had said we were going to do in the first year, and then we need to work towards compiling a report, a narrative report, evaluating the progress, as well as giving this report to our funder, so which is a big thing, obviously. And in addition to that, I also needed to conduct interviews for new staff members. I had to also bring them up to speed with what the project is about, provide training, and do so many activities. And oh goodness, it was just crazy that I couldn't get a chance to sit down to actually talk to you guys. But nonetheless, I'm going to be, bringing you up to speed about all of that, okay? So yeah, the purpose of today's video is to really do some reflection and, take you with me and hopefully inspire you to do the same, because this is something that I've probably been avoiding for a while, but I think today is in the season that I'm in is really time to be intentional about it. So, as I may or may have not yet mentioned, 2022 marked, my most significant year as far as my career is involved, because this is the year where I officially became a CEO. It's the year where I started running a project, like a huge project. It's also the year where I started having to be responsible for team members and be responsible for monitoring and evaluation of a project, and it's also the year where I got so many accolades and so many awards, like way more than I could have ever imagined. So the Lord has been so good. I've been so blessed. I've been so blessed. I'm living my dream. I am, living out a vision that I casted a very long time ago. And I have the tools and the team and the resources to really ensure that I excel at what I do, which is just amazing. I'm so incredibly grateful for it. Another thing that happened is I officially got my master's results, and I passed. And here at level 9, what you say about that? Yeah, so there's been such incredible things happening, but the past couple of days or a week or two, I just found myself feeling so exhausted. I found myself feeling so drained. Like, all these incredible things were happening, but I just felt like I was so tired, and I thought it had to do with me having so much on my plate at that time, until this one time, after my husband's birthday, which we couldn't celebrate because at that time we were both very busy. I was busy with training, and he was doing, chasing some other deadline that led to him, having not being able to sleep for like 2 nights. So on that day we just had to sleep. In fact, we actually had made plans to celebrate his birthday with some family and friends, but we had to cancel that because we were just so tired. But I still felt so terrible because it was also around Valentine's Day. And on Valentine's Day, we were out of town doing work things. And yeah, so I the weekend after that, I was just like, we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna make it big, okay? And then, in as much as we did celebrate, but things were not, we didn't do it things didn't go according to plan, let me put it that way. And I had a meltdown. I had a serious meltdown. And I couldn't understand why. I felt like I had this big build up to what the weekend was supposed to look like. And then when that didn't happen, I was just like, oh my goodness, I believe this is happening. And then, we spoke about it and we just both sort of attributed it to being tired. Especially, like I said, February was such a big month. And then this one time, something else again also happened. I had a meeting with the executive director of one of our other funders, and I actually stressed about that meeting. And it was supposed to be an hour meeting. I was like, oh my goodness, this meeting and that meeting went so well. This lady was telling me, you're so organized, you're doing so well and all of that. And I was expecting the worst, especially because she's one person who's very direct. Like, she'll tell you, she'll give it to you straight. So I was like agonizing about it for a while. And then only for her to, commend me for the work that I'm doing, which was like, believe it or not, such a terrible letdown. And I remember I even went to go and speak to someone at the office, and my initial plan was just to go and tell this person that, I don't think I am coping. I don't think I'm doing well mental health wise. And I got there, I was just like crying, like ugly crying. And as we were talking, I came to realize that I was feeling so bad because I was not struggling. I was doing well. I was succeeding in everything that I was doing. Nothing was missing. Nothing is broken. And when you for the longest time have been striving to get things done, have been striving to striving for things, for everything, and then now all of a sudden you don't have to do it anymore. It's like your brain is programmed to always be stressed, to always be anxious about what the worst can be, to always be thinking about how not to drop the ball. And now it's like there isn't a ball to be dropped, and it's like now you don't know what to cling on to anymore. Like, I had such I think a light bulb went on, and I started seeing, like patterns in what I've always done, which is to always chase the next thing. And for my entire life, I've always been working on something. The end of something always marked the beginning of something. Even now, I've started a new business, which I'll tell you about as time goes on. But that's just how I've always been. But now it got to a point where I realized that, oh my goodness, now you're living in your wildest dream. You're doing so well, but yet you're struggling to internalize it. You're struggling to live in the moment of, your accomplishment, to say, you know what, I've done this. Especially with the masters, because I've been doing that masters for a very long time. A very, very long time. And there were times where I really questioned myself, like, goodness, I like, why is it taking me so long? Like, I went to school with so many people that did their masters, and in no time they were done. I mean, granted that most of them were actually doing it full time when I was working and doing, and starting businesses and getting married and doing all these things, but I still held myself to such a high standard to say, I have to be done with this thing. And I wasn't. I only now recently finished it. And the craziest thing is, towards the end of last year, when I was working towards submission, I remember going through Instagram and looking at people who were celebrating their graduations and things, and thinking, when the day I finished and I passed, you gonna know me. You will know me. I'm gonna celebrate till the sun don't shine, And then I eventually passed, and it was like, okay, well, I passed. I passed. I remember someone even, commenting when I shared it on Facebook, like such a short caption. And I was like, I don't know. So I'm so grateful to be in a position where I recognize that, I have to learn to live in the now. I have to learn to internalize my success. I have to learn to celebrate myself. And we say that all the time. I say that all the time. And I try to do it all the time. But not the celebration of getting myself a new pair of shoes, or, not things like that, but like really, really immersing myself in the idea that, girl, you did that. You did that. There was a time where you thought you couldn't, but you did, And I think another incident that also sort of contributed to this realization is that, my mother was, my mother paid me a visit. And I remember saying to her, because she has some errands to run in my town, and I was like, oh, you're gonna take me out? She's like, yeah, no, sure. And then she comes over, and then I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna spoil her rotten. I'm gonna take her shopping, I'm gonna take her to go out and eat, I'm gonna take her anywhere where she desires. And she was just like so happy, and we were both going down memory lane and just thinking about the times where there were so many sacrifices that my family was making to ensure that I get access to education, to ensure that I go through school. And there were times where we could never imagine that I would be where I am today. It was all, it's all so distant. And I'm so grateful to my mother for being so prayerful and being so hopeful. But nonetheless, it was never, we never saw what's happening coming. So and even I was also saying that, but at the end of the day, I still felt so unfulfilled. And that's when I realized that something's got to give. Something has got to give. So I'm starting therapy. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm starting therapy just to really try to work past that. I call it the crisis of success. I've decided to go through therapy just to get some skills on how to work past that. So that's what I'm gonna do. And another thing, it's shame. Let me tell you, I'm a huge fan of therapy. I will advocate for everybody to get a therapist, but I'm also very terrified of it. I'm so terrified of therapy. Oh goodness! I mean, we've done premarital counseling with my husband. We've done a couple of therapy sessions as a couple, but personally, I hate therapy. But I also acknowledge its importance, so which is why I'm going to be prioritizing my mental health by doing that. And I remember crying, like ugly crying, and I was like, I can't believe I'm crying because I'm successful. Like, I'm used to crying because I'm striving for something. Now I'm crying because I don't have problems. Like, what is this, And I'm so grateful for the person that I spoke to, because she was like she held space for me when I really needed it, and she was reassuring me to say it's okay. And another thing is I also got to remember that, man, poverty is so evil. Poverty is evil, guys. Oh, poverty is evil, because we grow up our whole lives literally striving, such that even when you are done striving, you still want to strive, you know. And it's so easy. I'm generally one person who embraces convenience. I embrace, if something can be, if I can pay for something, then I'll pay for it. I'm not like, you know, a veteran of the struggle or anything like that, but there are still some traces of poverty that I can see in my life that can lead to self-sabotage, because I was also starting to realize that this thing is making me so anxious in the sense that, because I'm constantly waiting for something wrong to happen. Even when something small happens, I scrutinize it and I start being so anxious about it, and then only to find out that it really wasn't such big of a deal. So which is why I'm going through therapy. So I hope that this really inspires you to realize that your dreams are valid, your wildest dreams are valid, and in your dreaming, in your praying, I would advise you to also pray for capacity to handle those big dreams. And when we say handle, it's always handling in the sense of doing things right, doing things well, which is incredibly important, but also handling the success and the accomplishment that comes with that. I pray that you pray for that and you get it. I'm praying for that for myself as well. And yeah, I pray that this also inspires you to go on your own personal reflection journey, so that you can just look inwardly and try to fix whatever it is that's on there. And that's it for me. I know that's not a lot of nursing specific, boss nurse specific content, but yeah, it certainly did come from my heart. So until next time, I shall be seeing you. Have a great run.